So, hello, welcome to the daily workshop. We started previously as a weekly workshop, but I decided, okay, I want that book finished, and so I invite you to a daily workshop. Last time, I mean that was yesterday, we finished up with the characters. And now we have to first properly organize it, and we have, into chapters, and there's still some things to do to describe, for example, the individual locations. And we have to do some housekeeping, and maybe we'll start with that. Okay, so first thing, I now have a weekly schedule. Let's look here. I'll quickly share it. 1 moment. Zip. So now I have a weekly schedule. No. Well. So daily at 9 p.m., that's European time, 1 hour co-working space. So you're invited to join me, and we'll work together. I will work on the book, and while working on the book, I will explain how I think writing is done. Also, there will be some project management going on, etc. I will also do, but that is still planned here on Wednesday, a purely business workshop from 7:30 to 8:30. That's basically 1 hour ago. And I am thinking about doing some sort of karaoke here on Wednesday and Saturday, mostly for myself as a training session. and basically also as a co-working space. So you're invited there as well as in German every Sunday evening, at least on my side, GMT +2, about the current pandemic. Okay, that's one thing, but I need to do some updating, especially my other channel. So there's also a YouTube channel. You can check it out here. That's simply my books and all the individual episodes from the last time. So the weekly workshop of the last few times. And here, I think I started here critical review part 1 and then just a daily one. And each time it was about different aspects, narration, the individual characters, the plot, etc. This one I think I can remove. Okay, so just some bookkeeping, and then we can start. I also can show you another page about the current live streams on the website. So that's lode.te. And there we also have an overview of the live streams. Okay. So I'll just show you that as well. So this is my publishing website. Design could still be improved, but that's simply how it is currently. And here we have live streams Sundays 7 p.m., Sundays 3 p.m. and I'll just update this. The software I'm using is called Webflow. I can show you that as well. It's a little bit of a niche product, but I like it because it's I like the designer. So of course you can use WordPress or etc. for that or other things. Okay, so hello Tanina, you have a question about publishing. So just write it in the comments. I can also highlight it. So if you have any question, just post it in the comments and I will say something about it. So this channel is also about publishing, meaning I'm basically accompanying the whole process from the first idea, project management, forward to getting everything on Amazon printed as a print on demand or as a printing it in mass. For the latter, I'm currently looking into it. I mean, you can basically have it printed abroad, but I think if you're a self-publisher, the best way is print on demand with Amazon KDP. So if you have any question, just post it. So while you're typing, I'll just continue with showing you Webflow. So this is how it looks on the other side. Basically, you have an editor where you can edit directly text on the web page. And what we want to edit here is the navigation here. And we want live streams. And let's maybe remove this one. And we'll just say daily 3 p.m. EST. That's 9 p.m. GMT +2. Okay. So, one moment, I'll just publish it and then it is online. Okay, about your question. Okay, you're asking how many types of publishing are there without Amazon, any site for self-publishing. So the question is mainly if you want to publish on as a PDF, or if you want to publish it for Kindle, or if you're okay with, or if you need it printed as a soft cover or hardcover. So these are basically your 4 options. 5 options. First option, you get a printing shop printing you thousands of books. Expensive, and I wouldn't recommend it if you're not really sure what you're doing with those books. The second one would be just a PDF download. We can take a look at LeanPub. I can quickly show you that one. So there you just have to upload your PDF, and then it's already working. One moment. Yeah. So for example, I have my books there, and they are as PDF, and you can add a lot to the website. Most important thing is the upload. And you're basically uploading a PDF file. One moment. And you can also upload a sample PDF file. So, okay. This looks like... And I mean, for the PDF file, you can basically use any format, even a Word export. Myself, I'm using LaTeX. The book would then look like this. So it's just a standard PDF here, of course, with 2 pages on that side. So this is if you want to use PDF download. If you want it printed, I haven't got experience myself with other. With other websites, I only used Amazon so far. You can also use Google Play if you have access there, Google Play Books. And there's, depending on where you live, I think in Australia is a separate one. The main challenge is really the payment provider. So make sure that this is available in your country. Either it's PayPal or Stripe. Those are the most important ones. And then the question is, what do you want to do with it? So, I mean, don't have expectations that, oh, I upload my PDF and then everyone will buy it. This will not happen, but exactly no people will buy it. So it is up to you to market the book, be it on podcasts, be it on websites, forums, etc. And this is actually something I will look into more, the whole aspect of how to create an audience. I mean, that is basically also this podcast here about. Okay, so thank you for your question. We will also go through this process for my own book, but not right now. This will be, I mean, once it's finished. I already have an entry on Amazon for the book, but it's not yet for pre-order yet. Okay, so back to our website. So here we have now our proper live stream, and we'll check what's on the website. So here there are 2 entries, and we have to basically update those. So, and we'll do it quickly. Well, let's also add the other live stream here. German. So. Okay, we have all the information. That's saved, and now we look at our live streams website. We can quickly edit it here as well. So we have here a daily live stream Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Central European Time. Okay. And that is all done. So we have finished the bookkeeping, and now back to productivity here on the in Overleaf. So last time we did a lot here in the text, and today question about the address. I'll post it into the chat. So that is leanpub.com. That's one way, and another way would be Google Play. That's actually on my Google Play is actually in my book. That's called Better Books for with LaTeX, the Agile Way, and there are also all the possible ways described. All the contents of the book are available on my website. That's here on Better Books with LaTeX, the Agile Way, self-publish your book on Amazon, Google, and Leanpub. And you can check out, I'll also post the address. You can check out the contents. So you can check out here Google Play here, for example, how to publish your book on Leanpub, and how to publish on Google Play, and how to publish it on Amazon. So these are all the three ones I recommend that book. So if you have another question, well, what will be the actual size of the book when you publish the book? Well, it depends on how you upload it. So I recommend going through my tutorial here through the individual points. I also have prepared a template, which we actually will be looking here right now. So I'm actually using the same template as in the book I've written. Well, and you can set it up as you like here in where's it here? Book format. And there are a lot of different book formats, any size. It really depends then on the publishing platform. They have tutorials as well, and they have lists what type of book sizes they allow. So the first thing would be best to check Amazon, etc. So these are all things Amazon would accept, but there are special cases where it may or might not work. So if you really want it professionally done and not just do everything by trial and error, just contact me in that regard. Also, another question, why are Penguin, HarperCollins are so famous in publishing industry? Maybe because they're around a long time. And I also noticed I could actually show your comments on the screen. Zip. Zip. So this should work. Yeah, okay. Okay, so if you have a specific platform to check out, just let me know. Then we could do an hour tomorrow on that. Okay, so then we'll take a look back here on our project. So again, this is the Overleaf project that my book is about. Well, the book is about the template I'm using for my next book. And one moment. Okay. And the idea really is to have one book template for everything, meaning you can focus on the contents. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like how do you format the bibliography, book format, how to draw the boxes, what's the formatting of the heading, what's here in the on the top here, the page number, how is that designed, how is the contents designed, etc. pp. So there's a lot to set up, and my idea was creating a template, and we'll really focus here on the contents, meaning just the main text we will be using in the book. And this is still a little bit chaotic, and now our focus is to clean it up. As I told in the previous sessions, this is basically a previous book I wrote, and it already has some chapters set up. And I mean, as you see here in the contents, and in the contents here, you have basically here a one-to-one relationship. So another question, one moment. Zip. Traditional publishing, why are agents important? Because they are flooded with books. So basically, you can take a look at one of my first parts of the series where I talked about writing for the market. The point is, you're not publishers are not waiting for your novel or your book and just, okay, give it and we publish it. Basically, they already know, okay, this kind of book could work, and then they look, okay, what authors are there that either could write this type of book or have already offered us this kind of book. And this might be just a specific genre or a specific topic. And I recommend here the other channel. Wait one moment. The other channel that is about publishing, writing, also similar to mine, but more professional. That is from Brandon Sanderson. And he has a lot of videos about that as well. So you can check out his channel. That's just Brandon Sanderson. So he's a accomplished author, a little bit longer, obviously in the business, and he talks a lot about agents, etc. But the most important thing is write for the market. Don't just write, but write for the market, and that is what I did with, that I hope I did with my book. The idea is to really search for specific words and search how many people are actually looking for that kind of book, for that kind of theme or topic. And the result of my initial research, this research is not done yet. I will work on that again. The research is available. I put together as an Excel sheet. That's here we go. I'll show it, and that's basically our our framework for the book. That we say, okay, the novel plays in a specific setting or time period. There are specific characters or roles. There are certain plot themes that are going on. There are special situations happening throughout, and there's a specific story tone, and we have a specific role of the narrator. And basically, the idea is to use those items. Those are not up to date, but you could think of that, those items as keywords for someone searching for, okay, give me give me an exciting novel about a colony ship, or give me a novel about an asteroid impact, or give me a mystery story that is hard science fiction, or give me a something about Venus and an astronaut on Venus or something like that. Give me that kind of story. And the idea is to not just write at this, but also have a tool where you search on Amazon how many people are actually using that. And for that, I'm using KDB Rocket, and can show you that as well. Again, I refer you to a previous part of the series. So, for example, Venus astronaut, and it shows me how many people are searching for it. So, not many people are searching for the specific key phrase Venus astronaut, but maybe we're searching for a post-apocalyptic science fiction novel. How's that going? Well, also not. So we're just searching for post-apocalyptic, just as an example. And it shows us here, for example, per month, 6,000 people are searching for the key phrase post-apocalyptic. So that is something to think about when deciding what topic or theme your book is about. So, another question about the book cover. Actually, you should do it the other way around. So you should think about a book cover very early, as a way to direct your creativity. I mean, I know some people do it then at the end, but you should be aware of the title, the subtitle, the theme, what's going on in the book, and do at least a concept art very early. From that point on, if you have all that fixed, hire a professional in that regard. So I can direct you to people in that regard. I mean, it's basically your advertising space. That is the main point where you really need to have someone who knows the market, who compares it to other books, who knows how a science fiction book should look like, where the people recognize that. Okay. So, on our side, clean up, housekeeping. We had, where did we put it? Here. So we put everything here. So basically, we rewrote some of the stuff here. So the best thing is maybe to start a new folder, just as a better overview, to create a new table of contents. So basically what I did here is the mission, that was the Mars mission, then the Venus mission, that is basically, it skipped the whole part here, that it skipped basically to 7. And all that was about the Venus mission, and then eventually here, chapter 8, she returns. That's chapter 8, and then chapter 10. Yeah, well, that's also part of her return. So that was the previous structure, and we want to rewrite it. So we just create new entries here. So and what do we have here? So as you remember last time, okay, we had some sort of possible backstory, but we might just skip it. The goal is here really to have to describe an overconfident person. I think we have it here we have the actual plot here. So this is the plot of the world, the external plot without her inner development, and this is her inner development, and it is all a little bit difficult to see and to read that quickly. So I will combine that and make it a lot more, create a lot better overview. So maybe we'll just create a new file, table of contents. We will just use that temporarily, just for overview sake. This was all here. And here also her plot. So this was the plot of the Earth. Then we need a plot of Catherine, how she develops, and we will also need a plot of the specialist, the so far unnamed specialist, and yeah, that's the main thing. The plot of Catherine and the plot of specialist, I mean, they are also are the plot on what's going on Venus. Okay, zip, and we have to clean that up. And do we have anything else? Yeah, we have a little bit here of that for him. So now we basically have to combine it into a table of contents. I mean, here we already did some breaks here, and within those breaks, we could continue the story on Earth. And then she again gets into action. So just as a timeline, I mean, we're open in that regard. We're open in that regard. We can just say, okay, sure, that is the timeline, but we narrate it differently, that she has a flashback or talks just about the past events. But maybe as a first step, let's put it simple, and we'll just narrate it in the proper timeline. So the proper timeline, so I'll go into full screen mode again, into half screen. So the timeline, asteroid, 8 factions form, and they're trying to create a world climate council, and they're recapturing the industries, and they're building the colony ships. So, and here Catherine comes in. So here we have to enter her story. So her story is well, both the setting on Earth or on Mars. So we could actually skip back and forth here. We could say that she joins here. So Catherine joins the Church of Tomorrow. Well, let's just remove that for now. Let's keep it clean. Let's just focus on that. So then there's then external plot going on, and then her journey to Mars. And her journey to Mars, maybe it's going on here, journey to Mars. That could also happen earlier. So, and then the Mars mission failure. Then her way back. Okay. Was another question. You have to specify what you mean with how do you how do you search it? So what do you mean? Okay. So her way back to Earth. And here we could, for example, discuss her, how she feels about the failure, etc. I mean, she's shaken in that regard, feeling guilt, etc., etc. So then the committee on Earth, and also we have here the implant. Okay, then maybe life on Earth, coping with failure, etc. And then we have the implant, where she regains her confidence, and then the mission. The mission to Venus. So, and here we actually could move things around. I mean, here we have a lot of action going on. That is all happening here. We could say that this is happening maybe as a response here. So, I mean, basically the journey to Mars that is initiated by the Church of Tomorrow. Oops. And the Church of Tomorrow here fails with the Mars mission, and maybe this is then happening here on her way back. Oh, well, either before or in between. Okay, looks good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So she arrives back at Earth. So we're basically switching back and forth between the different characters and different narrators. So she receives her implant and regains confidence, and then the mission of Mars to Venus starts. So there's of course a lot of material here, and we have to be careful not to push too much into it, because there's a lot of ups and downs. But it is part of her development and part of the development on Earth, and we need basically all that build up to get there. I mean, we can shorten some things. We could say, okay, the Mars mission is just maybe something she did on Earth, and that was something. I mean, this is a little bit maybe too much that we describe it in much detail. We could shorten this part. But for now, we'll just focus on the details of the individual steps of the timeline, and then we can say, okay, maybe this was just a memory or flashback, and we will go back to that later, and we just skip over that. Or we could say the actual story starts maybe here, and everything above that is flashback. Problem with flashback is you have a lot of exposition of just what is going on, explaining people, okay, this happened, and that happened, and that happened. And that can be a little bit boring, maybe, because our character just remembers things. On the other hand, it is a little bit long. So there's a little still work to be done. Okay, mission to Venus. Then, I mean, it is a little bit long, but we'll see. We'll see. Trials and obstacles. So so she got back on a mission. So here's a lot about the conflict on Earth. We skipped that. We skipped that a little bit. Here we skipped that. Well, this could be that part here with the conflict on Earth. So it could be that this is actually earlier. So she returns to Earth. Then maybe the space missions of Church of Tomorrow fail, and maybe she returns somewhere earlier. This could be, and there's maybe something that she has to cope with the failure. And while this happens, life on Earth, while this happens, then there's some sort of conflict going on, different factions trying to take over, and the Church of Tomorrow fights back. And then they require astronauts for their missions. And then basically they restart their program of building colony ships. And also her mission to Venus is signed. Okay, she can go. We don't have many astronauts, so she's certified now. And we have, so what else did we have here? So that's the whole confidence boost here with the mission here, and then her mission on Venus starts. So this is actually the main part of the mystery. So what does she find on Venus that kind of fixes the problems on Earth? The challenge here is, because it's going a little bit up and down, up and down, up and down, that we really guide the reader here to a suspenseful moment, suspenseful feeling, that we say, okay, hey, that this is now the special moment, because there's a lot of things happening. So the Mars mission, and then the committee, that's exciting, and here, so it's a little bit going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So we have to see what we can maybe put into all those other chapters to prepare a payoff here eventually here on the in the final chapters, because that is part of the mystery. So you say something that seems innocent for the reader. At that point, the reader can't really use that information, but later, here's something happening, but we read about here in the other chapter. So this is still something difficult to do, but we'll see how we get there. Okay, so mission to Venus, and she recovers some information. And then returns to Venus. I mean, that's a little bit boring here in terms of this. There's a lot of exposition here going on, and we have to make this certainly more exciting. And then 16th, okay, she returns. She is returns to Earth. A hero's welcome. And then she is put into prison. And then, I mean, that is the internal backstory. Then she is able to make contact to specialist, and then I don't know, prison break, or a release of information, and that in turn gives the edge for Solar Plus, that is the opponent of Church of Tomorrow in that universe, to basically take over the world, or return the Earth to its original state. It's a little bit. That is still the question. I mean, we also talked about this last time in length, how this would work. how this would work. Okay, another question. The video of this is, I mean, I'm live streaming, but all my videos are available to look through, to watch on my channel on YouTube. Also on Twitch, but they deleted after, I think, 7 or 14 days. Okay, so this gives, I mean, the ending is still a little bit fuzzy how this all would work. So there's still some work to be done. So and 20. Well, this is here the overthrow killer robots part. I mean, that is really the finale, but I mean, question is there really a suspense? Because in the end, what is happening here with that information that is so critical? So this is still something that needs to make some sense. And not just we found life on Venus. Oh, okay, then we give up our plans or something. So this needs more work. And at the end, I mean that's the happy ending basically. Okay, we decided, and that is still a big gap or big plot hole. Basically, we decided, hey, it's better if we stay on Earth and first take care about Earth. So happy ending, just happy ending. Yeah, and as I'm also always saying, this is just one way the story could go. And if you haven't watched the last few times, this is a story within a game, actually. A game I'm currently writing that's Impact Beyond, and in that game you can lead one of those 8 factions and see if you can take over the world, be it with killer robots or with political means, etc. So this is something else. Again, this is I talked about in depth in my other videos. Okay, so we'll just remove that. So we have that, we have that, we have that. Double check here. She goes back on the mission. Obstacles, she removes the implant and keeps her confidence. She returns as a new person. So this is just the internal thing. We can insert that here as well. And about the character, again, this is all part of this individual part here. This is basically the external story that we can basically observe from afar, and this is a lot internal stuff going on. Yeah, get access to the servers, etc. We have that on the other part. This is just for the table of contents. Now we could look to simplify it. Now we can decide, okay, how do we want to structure the book? How long should each chapter be? So this is more a design question. You could ask yourself, is it something, I did for the previous version, I did very, very short chapters. Here, just 2 or 3 pages. This is, of course, one way. Oops. Yeah, where does it start? Here. Well, this is just notes here. Here I just did 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages for a chapter. So the question is really, how long do you want to have those pages? So basically we have now 20 chapters. I don't think there's a formula where you can say, okay, this is the right amount. It is more a question about what makes sense. It is more like music, where you say, okay, do I add a break here? Because you can expect that readers will stop reading at a certain point. And the question is, what makes logical sense? I mean, here we just picked out particular events, but it could be that they are much more combined, and that it is important to combine, for example, the Mars mission failure with the journey to Mars, that this is really a compact unit. And these, I mean, this is basically, okay, A goes to B, B goes to C. They visiting different locations, a timeline, but timeline does not necessarily have to be the chapters. So maybe let's quickly look through that, and I mean, we can change it later. That is usually the way. But we need to have an initial boxes, basically, where we throw in our ideas. Yeah. So if you have another question, just write it again. Okay. So the question is now, okay, how should we simplify this, basically? Okay, for example, if you say this here, okay, she returns to Earth, a hero is welcome. We could like set a trap for the reader here. Okay, now everything will be good. Everything, there's a happy end. And then start the next chapter with, okay, she's thrown into prison, and then she lives somehow in prison, and then the chapter ends, and then, oh, she contacts a specialist. It's a little bit, well, it happens in a shorter time period, but that's questionable. Also, Prison Break, is that a separate one? And what is happening here? Maybe this could be more. I mean, sometimes this could be several chapters. Yeah. Okay, again, about the template, this is all linked on my website. So if you want to write your own book using the template, you can go to my website. And this is also my one of my first streams was about creating a book in 1 hour. No, this is yeah, one earlier. This was, I think, either this one. No, this was LeanPub. No. I think it was this one. No, this is on KDP. Here. Okay. Generate your first ebook with LaTeX. Yeah, I also did a video on this one, so I'll just post it here. Zip. Yes, and this template is free to use. If you want to have any editing help or so, we can offer that as well at an hourly price. Here. Okay. Okay. Back to the book. Whoops. This one. Okay. So again, there's a lot of questions here. I mean, this is basically the final climax. So what we could do here is to put the reader basically at a low point here. Okay, she returns to Earth with that crucial information that would change the course of humanity, but no one gets to hear her. So this is maybe a good point where you say, okay, here's a break. And I mean, here here's basically, okay, the reader now wants, okay, what's going on? So it's basically a cliffhanger where you say, okay, now she's at the lowest. What will happen next? But it's a logical unit that we can say, okay, it's not like important. We're not breaking the stream of the story right in the middle. I mean, it is right in the middle, but it is something, okay, where we can basically fade to black and say, oh, okay, continue next time, if it was a movie or if it was a TV series. So where can we add another break? So the Asteroid Impact, the 8 factions, that is basically backstory that we could just sprinkle in, and we will keep that out, and we will start actually here. So she starts her first day at. We could even say she's on her journey to Mars. I mean, that is how I started my first attempt. So this is all here backstory, and that backstory, if you don't reveal it immediately, we have like a constant, well, not suspense, but a page turner where the reader wants to know more about the world and wants to follow our protagonist and to see, okay, now she goes there, but what happens there? If we just explain everything at the beginning, then it becomes boring. So, continuing. Yeah, there's another question about what type of books to publish on Amazon. There are no content books like calendars or so, but as far as I have read, this market is basically oversaturated. I'm not doing that, so there are other producers who advise that, but there's this very oversaturated market. When you're writing a book, my recommendation is to when you start the book, to know people want that book specifically, and not go into a mode of thinking, yeah, I know what they want to buy, or I'm writing this great book and people will just come to me and buy it or something like that. If you're not sure that someone is actually interested in that kind of book, it is very risky to invest all that time into writing a book. Okay. So, okay, this is the backstory. So we will just sprinkle that throughout the book, and just assume that this is something everyone knows. I mean, that is usually best. It's usually not. I mean, it's a little bit cringy in movies where the hero sits down with someone from, I don't know, from the local village, and now the local village person explains everything, how everything works. Better is if you have someone who moves in that world naturally, and you're discovering more about the world step by step. It's a little bit of a fine line because you have to be careful not to lose people here. So maybe what is possible in this case, I mean, on the cover, there could be that asteroid impact. So everyone knows, okay, so it's about an asteroid impact. Now I want to know how this world, how humanity was able to cope with that catastrophe. Okay, let's see if we can finish that today. Well, not the book, but at least the table of contents. And next time, the goal is then, so my goal is really to work on this 1 hour each day. And I invite you, if you have any questions about my book, about publishing, about writing, about editing, just post it in the comments. Okay, so so we have that, the journey to Mars and the Mars mission failure. So this could be two. I mean, especially at the beginning, the reader is still has still some positive energy. I mean, the reader bought the book, so they want to read. It could even be mass mission failure is that you throw the reader directly into the action. It is possible, so this will put a question mark here. The question is here, of course, how much exposition we can do indirectly about the people she had relations with on the spaceship, about herself, about her character, if we throw her directly into the action. Because if it is a high action scene, then we can't have certain other characterizations because she's like full of adrenaline, and it is difficult, for example, to paint her as overconfident or explain something about the backstory or what her motivation was to join that program. That can then also only done in a little bit strange flashbacks. So basically here we would have a less exciting beginning, but more canvas to write about her and her backstory. That is a little bit the question. It's like a piece of music where you could say, okay, it starts right away, or you do a little bit build up. And build it up. I mean, started slowly. The reader still has some is still open to read a lot before really getting to the action. On the other hand, I mean, if you look at certain movies, you have that trope that initially in the first action scene, you're seeing all the main qualities of the character. For example, if you look at the beginning of Indiana Jones action scene, followed by a characterization of him as a professor. So you have both instead of having him as a professor and then going on a journey to that adventure. So you actually save that preparation. How did he get there? And this could be also possible. So it could be possible that we say, okay, the start here is the mass mission failure, and the actual characterization is going on her way back to Earth and in the committee. So we just learn something more about her, and the real action is already going on there. Maybe now thinking about this, maybe we'll just try it out. So the journey to Mars is also backstory, and we'll start right away in the action. Right? Red alert, the computer is burning, whatever. So we start right away. She decides to go back to Earth, and then we process who she is by examining her daily behavior. And then during the committee, we work through her backstory and how she copes with her life. So this is mainly here about characterization of her. Then this is all the backstory, and this is an opportunity for her to get back into training, and this is a new start to Venus and the Venus mission. And of course we could, I mean, that is something I did in the original version. What I did was to jump here after this directly here to the next mission and basically say, okay, yeah, something happened here, and everything that happened here is also backstory that I will talk about while she is on a mission. I mean, this also would add more mystery to the whole thing. I think it could work. I'm a little bit hesitant about that. Okay. So what else do we have? Here we have that break. And I think this one could be a great break here. So she returns to Earth. Here maybe. And then basically it ends on a high note here, this chapter, that we see, okay, I mean, if it would be a movie, she sees Earth approaching, and then she prepares for her speech or something like that. And then heroes will come, and then she's put into prison. That's one way to do it. The other way would be to build here to end with her as a hero, break, and then action. So the question is really here. I mean, at the end of the day, you're directing the feeling, the excitement of the reader. So do you want to end here on a little bit suspense? What will happen when she returns on Earth? So she's maybe excited herself. Will she be greeted as a hero, or what will happen? What about all the messages she got? What is the current situation on Earth? Or is it the other way around, that she just recovers it, returns to Earth, is welcomed, she gets home or gets into the hotel, the chapter ends, and then you have like a feeling, okay, what will happen then? I mean, it's all loose ends were discussed, nothing is open, and then you suddenly put basically open a new chapter where you say, okay, you throw the protagonist into prison and say, okay, now something unexpected happens. So this is more than a surprise that is happening. While with this kind of chapter break, we would have more of suspense. So do we want more a surprise, or do we want more suspense? So that is the question. Right. So I mean, it's like an ingredient if you're cooking. So that is something. Okay. So I'll do I think I'll do another 5 minutes or so. So what else do we have? So again, a lot to discuss just about the question, where do you do the chapter break? Where do you do the fade to black in a movie? So here, I mean, that is fine here. The question is, what happens next? I mean, here we are asking, oh, she's put into prison. There's still the suspense there that she has some information that will have an impact. But that is unanswered. While if we had it like this, the only suspense here would be, okay, sure. So she got the information that will rescue Earth, and now, okay, then I mean the book ends, and everything here then just feels like just added stuff. I mean, the book could end in here. So this way, I would say fixed. We end this chapter really, okay, she returns to Earth. She sees Earth from her spaceship, and we are unsure what happens next. And here again, here is welcome with the twist then, okay, she's put into prison. But what happens next? We want to know. So then we go into the next chapter. So again here, mission to Venus. So she finds something that is unclear. So we should do a break here. So she finds an anomaly. I don't know. Break. What kind of anomaly? So Catherine, I don't know, examines the anomaly. And and then returns to Earth. And with the cliffhanger, basically, okay, what will happen then on Earth? Mission to Venus, she finds an anomaly. And here, will she get... I mean, here the question is about more her internal struggle. Will she regain her confidence? Okay, another question from the chat about general editing. In publishing, editing a book is an important thing. My question is how to edit a book by yourself. Well, you're watching it in progress. So you start with an outline, and I really recommend that you take a look at the blog posts I posted. I also discuss how to create a outline, how to sort it out, how to do brainstorming, and in my videos I actually do it with an example with a fiction book. Other than that, I really recommend to get an editor. I also have one working for me, and I mean, it's good to have another pair of eyes looking at your stuff. Okay. So Mission to Venus finds an anomaly. So the question is, what is happening here? So, okay, so she finds some sort of, or there's a technological breakthrough, and she finds a way to regain her confidence with an implant. And this is more about her attempting to change her life and get back into her previous job as an astronaut. So maybe here we end with job interview. So we end here this chapter with, okay, she's in front of the recruitment office. She has regained her confidence. She has that brain implant. She's back. She's healed, and now she's ready to go on a new journey. So there's a job interview, and that she goes back, and then she hears, I mean, this could be also something here. She hears about that Church of Tomorrow seeks for new astronauts, and she goes to the recruitment office, and then she basically goes back into astronaut training, and then is sent to Venus. And this could also be part of that. It's a lot of external stuff. Question would be if this is a separate chapter. Here's a question: what do we do with her internal struggle, and how and on what note do we end here? Okay, another question: how much does it cost to self-publish? Nothing, but expect to fail a lot. So it is a journey. I just say your first book will not sell. You will take a long time until you got everything right. But it is a learning experience. I did my first I started 2013, I think, and it is a learning curve to get there. So, but there are no costs involved. You can just publish your book and see. But don't be disappointed if no people are taking any interest in that. So that is why that is challenging. So look, I mean, book publishing is 100 different steps, and you have to learn 100 different steps to editing, cover, how to publish it, where to publish it, etc., 100 different questions, and be happy if you successfully answer 50 right. And then maybe with your second book, I have another 40 questions right. And with your third book, you get part of marketing right. With your fifth book, you start out listening what the market actually wants. With your sixth book, you actually know how to do marketing and do search words, etc., and keywords. So start publishing. That's the best way to learn it. Okay. So back to the novel. We actually have here the open question about what's happening here and how can we do cliffhanger and how does she cope with life on Earth. I mean, the next step would be, okay, she decides to get a brain implant, which is obviously not a simple step to do. So here's really the question, okay, how where do we cut, where do we fade to black? I mean, we could really give the book here a low point where we say, okay, she's really at an end, and we take a break here, and then we say, okay, she awakes the next morning, and there are shocking news on the television. So maybe shocking news on television. So maybe that is the cliffhanger here, where we say, okay, she's really at her low point. There's no, she lost her job, she's injured, mission failed, she has no future, etc. And then something happens, and there's shocking news on television. There's still a question how this would connect to the implant. Okay, moving on. One moment. Okay, good. So there's some shocking news on television, and of course the Mars mission failure, that is a clear break here. Okay, I don't know, the engine explodes, or she enters the code to go back to Earth, and there's not enough fuel to finish the mission, so we can do a break here. Okay, so this sounds good. So we have one chapter that is about the Mars mission failure. We have her recovery, her processing of the failure, and then we have the shocking news about war breaking out, and that she eagerly they eagerly need pilots or astronauts for their mission. So they give out an ad or something like that, and she really thinks, I can do it. And then she starts a recovery process, prepares for her job interview, regains confidence, overcomes her fears, processes her problems, and then goes and then stands with her CV in front of the recruitment office and say, okay, I'm ready. I'll take on this job, and I'm back. Then job starts. A lot of technical stuff we could build here. A lot of stuff about Venus, about we could implement, or we could put some astronomical knowledge in there, and then she finds something. She finds something unexpected, and that is something also where she rethinks something, and this would also be something. Okay, she rethinks her position, but not as far as that she makes any different actual decisions. So she just changes internally, and she expects that this will also change other people internally, but she's put into prison, and then she gets contact to the specialist, and that ties in with the mission to Venus and her implant. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chapters. A lot of backstory, so it would be a little bit longer one. With books, you have to think about how long you want them. So my goal would be 100 pages. That's okay for ebooks. If it's really a novel, then you should look more for 200 or 300 pages. And if it's really an epic novel, then for 400 or 500 pages. But start small, see if you can reduce the number of characters going on and left and right, and finish your first novel. In that regard, thank you for watching. So what we accomplished today, well, mostly me, but I mean, it's also a motivation for me to put it online and to continues to work on that. I will be online every day now at 9 o'clock. If you have any questions about your current project, your current publishing project, if you have own projects you want to be discussed, reviewed, just let me know, contact me. And I invite you to join me with writing tomorrow. If you like, subscribe, either YouTube or Twitch. Have a schedule open, so every day 9 o'clock Middle European or 3 o'clock, I think North American time, something. I have put it on Twitch and on my website. In that regard, thank you very much for watching, for your questions, and we will see us tomorrow. Thank you and goodbye.